Hi everyone. Today we're going to work with watercolor. I'm going to have to take you through this a little bit at a time. We have a lot of information to cover, so let's get going. First of all, let's start out and we will have an overview of the material we'll need for this demo. This is the best watercolor paper we can use. It is extremely absorbent. It is a it's cold press. It has a lot of cotton to it. What it does, it really does absorb the color well. It's forgiving. It's made by Fabriano Artistico. You can look that up. Your art store should have it. If they don't have it, have them bring it in. Winsor Newton. You want the Winsor Newton number 12. I don't believe they make them anymore. You can get a number 9, I believe, or a 10. It's the best brush on the market. It's expensive, but it's wonderful. You're only as good as your material. And also, I use Winsor Newton watercolors only because I'm familiar with them. They're a good color. Do not get the big tubes. Get a smaller tube because they dry out. Try to get the smaller tubes unless you're painting constantly. If you're painting all the time, then you get the bigger tube. All of the colors necessary for this demo are on my website, stevecarpenterartcenter.com. Okay, now before you start the project, you want to get a tin to put your watercolors in. This is mine. It's been used, really used. And a half hour before you start your demo or your painting, you spray it, make sure that it's really saturated with water, because these are just cubes. These are dried cakes of watercolor. They're wonderful for little touch-ups and a little nuance in color. But what you need to do is to get your tube color. When you're ready to paint, you just start to put out your tube colors. I'm going to use a lot of ultramarine, I believe. So just start to build your palette with the color right out of the tube, so you get a real nice dynamic feel. Okay, so you need a water dispenser. That's not difficult. A good brush, and there's a pencil that's extraordinary. It's the Black Wing. It's put out by, I can't remember, Palomo. And it's a wonderful. This adheres to this particular paper beautifully. Okay, so we're just touching base now. So let's get on with the demo. Now this is the image that I have chosen, and I want to show you how important it is to take a beautiful image and even make it more attractive and more watercolor. So let's start by, I'm going to suggest, I think the level here is pretty good. This is a nice breakup. You always want to choose. Do you want more water? Do you want more land? Do you want more sky? I'm going to make some choices. I'm going to make this my own. I may bring this down a little farther over here. What I'd like to do is to work this area where we go a little more back, then we come out a little more, just to create a little more interest in the horizon. So without further ado, all of these areas here will be redesigned also. It's not that this is bad, this is fabulous, but we can make it better, believe me. Okay, let's go. I'm going to do a small sketch. I always ask my students to try to find an idea through the sketching process. This is so important. This is where we could get our ideas. This is where we find our way. We're able to think just through the drawing. Now, earlier I'd mentioned that I thought this was a pretty good breakup here. I think I'm going to come up here, and what I'd like to do is to maybe get a little more of a read of the sky, just so we have a beautiful negative space here. You see, that's my idea of something to do. Now, what we're going to ask you to do as artists is to always bring your interpretation. When you're out in nature, you're going to be constantly asking, what do I care about? What do I really want to say? Where do I want to take this? So let's go down here. I like this form. I'm going to bring it out towards the viewer. I'm going to build it up. I like what I see. I like the form. I like the way it's breaking space. I'd like to bring it out towards the viewer. And let's take this guy back just a little bit. And this is kind of a cool form. It's round. I think I will make this smaller. I may take that a little farther just to keep this. I would love to have something back here. Do you understand what we're doing here? I'll make this a little smaller. Voila. Okay, there we have two interesting forms, one working after the other. 1, 2. And then we're going to go around and behind this form. Okay. We've decided that's not a bad idea. Now I've already enlarged this a little bit. So let's continue. What I would like to do is to get a little more organization in the, just a minute, let's get back to this guy. I'd like to get a little more organization here in the tree forms. I'd like to bring them into the painting a little more, to come down and eventually maybe move this guy over, just to bring everything into one read. Okay, let's do that. And all we do is just move. Just move. You don't want the same movement here, one against the other. This is a beautiful form. Nature comes out with these forms that are to die for. What you have to do is acknowledge it and go for it. Make it yours. Make it yours. Now I'm going to just reconstruct form to my preferences, and when I come over here, I'm going to move my verticals. You never want to get a vertical; it repeats itself. I'm just going to do my verticals that kind of bring us into the painting. You see, isn't that fun? Okay, and again, we want to get this form coming over here that'll eventually enter into this area. So we have an interesting form here. We want to make sure that we have a nice change of pace. And let's see what else we have. So let's overlap. I'm going to overlap. I don't want to keep again, we'll do the same over here. Doesn't matter. No one knows. No one cares. Just keep your forms. Get either a movement this way or a movement this way. You don't want to have a vertical on a vertical on a vertical. That is how we create interest. Okay, so this is our middle tone. This is our darker tone. This is where we're making our statement. And I've enlarged this area. This is the importance of drawing. The importance of drawing. And what I'd like to do is to keep this incredibly sober and calm, this area. I'd like this to treat this area as a watercolor. In other words, this will be nice and fluid with a color variance going from here to here. Okay, it looks like we have a nice battleship blue in here, a nice to make the battleship blue, you mix a Prussian blue with a little bit of burnt sienna. It breaks the aggressivity. And I'd like to keep the sky, and also the sky will blend right into the background. So that's my battle plan for this. And I would love to have this animation. I find this animation extremely attractive. Let's go back to the picture here. You see, this is it's really beautiful. We have to watch out that we don't overdo our rendering on that. But you see how crisp the lines are? So, but I'm going to place it in a better situation. So we have our dynamics, and our dynamics, you don't want it centered, ever. You don't want to center. You do want him where he is, but I'm going to bring him over a little bit. I'm going to bring him over a little bit. Just a little. Because I want him here, but I don't want him centered. And now I'm going to ask you nicely, we're going to paint all of this. And what we're going to do, we're going to absolutely do a mirror image of our painting. So these forms will all repeat themselves. That's how we do the water. Okay? So important that we do this, guys. Do your sketches. Feel your way. We've got to do this. Okay, we're back. Let's get going now. Now, as you can see in this drawing, we have this painting, photo. We have a beautiful, this is an ultramarine. It's going into it, has a nice alizarin crimson feel to it. When we do a watercolor, we always start from the background to the foreground. So let's get that background in, and we'll take it from there. Just a note here, we have color. We have a color base, a water base that we use for cleaning the brush, and then we have one that we keep it a little less polluted, and we have a nice a cleaner water base to work from. Okay, let's keep that in mind. Always have two sets of water, one to clean and one when you need a fresher color. Now I've sketched in what I want to talk about. You can see, I'll get up a little closer here. You can see the drawing a little better. You see the sky form. All right, I took all of my info from my sketch, which is over here, right? I did a comprehensive, just a little comp here in color. It's not dry. I want to go from a nice warm blue into a cooler blue. I'm going to lay in my background first everywhere, and that's what we're going to do right now. And please keep that in mind. Always try to get your background in complete before you start your other work. Now I've already put a color mask. I'm going to go a little bit alizarin crimson over here, just a touch, so it registers. I told you to put that color right out of the tube. Let me put that down there. All right, let's get going. This is the background. It's right behind the mountains. Get a lot of water on there. Get enough pigment. Get the color. Make sure you mix the pigment well so there's no residue left over. You want this to be rich. Now you notice I'm going to mix my color. I'm going to leave it. I'm going to clean my brush. I'm going to mix another color right over here, my alizarin crimson. I'm going to get it ready. So when I'm ready to paint, always prepare your color before, because watercolor has to be spontaneous and quick. You have to put it on and leave it. So I have two colors, alizarin crimson and ultramarine blue, ready to go. Now I'm going to prepare my canvas to take color. I'm going to prepare my paper to take color. So here we go. Again, this is our background. This is our background color. You always want to leave white around. You always want to be framed up with white. Watercolor is white paper. It's the white of the paper that makes it. Okay. I'm going to come down here, just make sure. That we have a nice degradation. All right, let's go, folks. Let's go. Let's attack. I'm going to go even a little more aggressive than what I've done. And I'm going to lay this baby in. Cool. A lot of water on there. A little more pigment and we will let it roll. Okay. Let the watercolor do its thing now. Let the watercolor do its thing. Move it in space. Now you want to get the color mask that you find appropriate for the painting. Now before I go any further, I am going to lay in my alizarin crimson, which is already prepared and ready to go. And I will just take a nice reed here. And I will drop it in right here. Voila. And we'll play with that. Let it move through space. Voila. We're going to take it up into the sky just a little. Because I just want an echo. I just want an echo. Just an echo. Just put it together. Just own it. I call owning it because we made a decision, and there we go. Just pull it down. Always remember to have tissue with you when just something happens. Just pull it up, clean it up, no problem. All right. You see little things like this, that's watercolor. Leave them. That gives it, that's charm. That's called charm, folks. All right. I'm going to let this dry. That is about the color. This is about the color here that I was looking for. I decided later to work in the beautiful alizarin crimson. Okay, we're going to let this dry and then I'll be back to you. All right, now we have, this is our dried image. It's completely dry. We can paint now from here. What I did use is a hair dryer. Just get a nice hair dryer and it'll advance you, but don't force it. Don't force it. Go slowly when you build this, okay? Now what I've done is I've changed my water. I want you to learn to change your water regularly. This is my clean water. I'm going to need that. And I still have the color over here just to clean up the one. Another thing that I forgot to mention is I want you to have a nice absorbent material to take the excess water off your brush. You can either use this or a Kleenex. Okay, let's get going. Now, while we were away, I mixed the color base that I'd like to use. Okay, now we're going to identify with these forms right here. All right, we're going to lay those in, and we're going to come down to nothing. And we're going to get into our nice greenish form through a cerulean passage. So let's see what we can do. So my colors are mixed. I have my cerulean, I have my base color, which is an ultramarine blue, burnt sienna, alizarin crimson, and olive green. It's called a Chishuri color. It's more than 3 colors. It's a neutralized dark color. I wanted to keep that this royal kind of a bluish color up there to contrast from the ultramarine. We'll see if we have and we're good. So I'm going to do these, and one thing I forgot to do, and I'm going to do it right now, I'm going to get my yellow ready to go when I have done my cerulean, so you can see I'm getting it going right now. This is right out of the tube. I may have to do more later, we'll have to see. Again, I'm going to say this again, if you want to hedge your bets, and you do in watercolor, get your color going first, get it set up, don't wait until it's ready to go. You want to get the color on and let it mix. All right, now this is a little touchy because I am going to be drawing now. You want to draw. This is the edge of the form, so let's go in and do our thing. I'm going to lay a bunch of paint in. And we came over here, we had a form like this. And your forms are really important when you're doing your sky. Really important. I think I'll take it out like that. So let's put the paint in. Again, I've mixed a bunch of paint. I'm not going to be held up short. I like to keep my alizarin crimson going here. I may even throw a little more as I go. You see, I should have got this going earlier. I didn't think about it, so let's do it now. There we go. Okay, there's my color base. That's a color base. Now let's get the transition going right away down here into another color. All right. Now what I want to do is to keep this as free as possible down here. I want to get my aggressive colors on top. And I want to get my nice light colors right here. Voila. There we go. Let's work with that now. So we will go into our I want to do a little bit of painting here, drawing while it's still wet. I don't have to go everywhere. Just give scale. Give scale to your drawing. I don't like this form. Anytime you do a form, it has to have beauty. It has to have relevance. You don't want to do it everywhere the same. I'm going to pull this down, pull this together. a little less aggressive. Voila. Pull this through. Let's just pull this through. That way we own it. There we go. All right. And I may just drop in a little bit of cerulean blue. Let's just drop it in and see what happens. And we'll work this guy. Through the mass. Through the mass. And see what happens, huh? Just pull everything over here. Just let this dry and we'll be back to the next step. Okay, here we go again. Let's start out this this new session here. Everything is dry, ready to go. We can work it. I'm going to put a nice I'm going to put a nice light, very light yellow color down here just to represent the glow that's in here. You'll notice the glow. There's a glow, a beautiful yellow glow. Let's go for it right away and make sure that we have that effect, okay? So here we go. Clean water. Don't forget to get nice clean water. Here we're working with our yellow here, okay? Just gonna lay it in. Very light. Very light. And just bring it everywhere. Now, obviously this will dry lighter, and that's what we want it to do. It's just an understatement. Underpainting. Okay. And I'm going to attack the background. We're going to work now all of this area back here. And I'm going to go with alizarin crimson. I take that back. It's not going to be alizarin crimson. We're going to go with a olive green. There we go. So I'm going to mix my olive green. It's right out of the tube. Nice rich color. I'll clean this up a little bit. Get rid of some of these colors here. Now here we go. Now we've established the light source. It's to our right. I'm going to lay in my form. We're going to do our feathering right away, immediately. Get just the right humidity on the brush. Just the right humidity on the brush. Now these are all in the background. So we'll create our entrance into the more aggressive painting. We'll do this slowly. Feel our way. Now I'm going to go a little bit of a change of pace, just for the heck of it. Get scale. Now this will be covered up. All of these will be covered up, so I'm just going to place a few forms. Now I want this to dry before I go any farther. I want to make sure I get just the right color mass that I'm looking for. So we will dry it, and then I will be right back. Now, everything is dry and ready to go to the next step, but what I want to do immediately is to put a frisket on my little personage here. So, because I want to paint over this freely, and I want to make sure that I can have some color coming through this space here, and at the same time I will get a nice horizontal line right here. There we go. And that's about it. That's the only frisket I'm going to use on this painting. So. And now let's paint the background. We're going to do some drawing, some intricate drawing. This is a good color mass. I'm happy with the color mass. And let's just keep going. I'm going to use a base color. I'm going to use my olive green as a base, as a very simple descriptive color, and from this we can go into all the colors. Okay, I'm going to go just slowly. I like the way that's working. I'm going to do a nice passage here. I'm going to keep this nice and soft. I'm going to let that be. Get a nice soft edge on this guy. Hard edge. Soft edge. Always one against the other. Let's get a nice little movement in here. See what we can do with it. I would like to accentuate this light here. Need a little more pigment. Okay. Let's get a nice hard little edge in here. And a hard edge over here too. Like to get a nice top on that form. And we'll come over here. And we'll throw another little form in here. Okay, let this be. Softest edge, nice soft edge. soft edge. And here we go. And I will continue. I like what I see here. I want to get a movement in space. I want to get a little more green in this passage here because I want this light to work. And then I'll take it out. All right. Would be kind of fun right here now if we could put a nice warm color right here. Right here. There's your complementary right there. That's what we want. And I will bring it over into here, and there we go. Now, I don't want to just have that one space. I'd like to do something over here too. And I'm going to throw a little bit of warm in this area, just to create a nice change of pace. And I'm going to make sure that it reads. And make sure that it reads. Make sure that it reads. All right, this is going to help our understanding of the form. Okay. Now, let's do the foreground. And we will go slowly with that. The same, I'm going to use my olive green with my, it's a darker olive green right here. What I'm going to do is just bring this in. I'll mix a bunch of the color here. Let it sit. And I will start to build with my green, olive green base. This is important now that we do this and we draw. We're going to draw now. And we're going to start to define a little more texture in our application because we're closer. Now watch, I'm going to drop in a nice reed, nice rich color base, a lot of pigment, and I'm going to do this. I'm going to start to do the actual feel of the material of the grass. A little lighter over here. Now I'm going to come back in and get a lighter passage. Okay. And I think I'm going to change brushes just for these passages here. And what I'd like to do now is to drop in my denser color right here. And I'll probably have to come back in when it's dry and work that again a little more. Okay, let's let that dry and I will be back shortly. Okay, now I worked this area over here, and I have a color comp that I like. I went more yellow, a little bit of an orange, and I put a turquoise in the green to activate all of the colors. Now I'm going to work my turquoise through the whole painting. I'm going to get back to the original, and as we see, this area here is the turquoise. On the right, I'll work my turquoise color in, always keeping it on the right-hand side, just to shake up the color comp as we go through. So let's do that, and we'll get going. This is my turquoise right up here. Now, because of the yellow underpainting, we don't feel the color so much. It blends in nicely. And I'm going to put a touch behind here. And there we go. Okay. Let's feather that right away. Get a nice feather effect. So feather that. I'd like to keep some of this yellow going here. So let's get our yellow color. I'm going to bring out more yellow. There you go. I'm going to place it immediately. And we will get going here. Nice transition right there. We want to get a nice transition here. There we go. Also, we want to have our color in here. Go up here with my... I'd like to keep this dense. Little dense over here. All right. I kick this behind. And now we'll start to go in with our ultramarine, our green, olive green base. Let's start to negotiate some of these forms now. Remember, we brought this form out in front. I would like to now just get a nice light green passage going right through here. There we go. And I would like to go to my ultramarine blue and own this form right here. When I say own, I want to make sure that I have a nice horizontal. I'm going to do my horizontal here. I'll take my smaller brush for this. And we're going to go to ultramarine blue. Pure blue. It's my darkest dark. The darkest dark. A little bit of green. Okay, let that dry. We shall let that dry, and let's keep this. I'm going to bring this out a little bit, a little more. And I'd like to put some tooth in here. Okay, we'll let that be for the time being. Now, while that's drying, I'm going to start to work on my tree forms. So let's get going on that. It's essentially the same color. I'm going to stay within my olive green, ultramarine blue, and I want this to be a warmer color, so I'll get my CAD ready as we go. All right, let's go. I'm going to work in my darkest dark right away. And I'd like to feel a color, a real color in here, so I'm going to go really into my blue. Even more blue. I want to go pure blue. Pretty pure. Watercolor, watercolor, color, color, color. Change the pace on top. Now let's move our color in space. We'll go now into our green. Into our greens. And pretty soon we will start to introduce some of our warmer colors, and let's do that right now. And see what we got. Now this is the primary reed for this painting. So we're going to make sure that we get a lot of info. a lot of aggressivity in our color. Now I want to be able to identify with this color, so I'm going to go with my base color, my olive green. I'm going to start to pull it together. And all the time we're going to put our leaf form in there in proper scale. All right, so let's continue here. We'll come down. I'm going to open up this a little bit, give a nice opening here. Now there's a big form here that is really rather abstract, and I would like to make it mine. So I'm going to come down. And let's put some of our lighter color in there right away. And also what I like to do is to go with my ultramarine blue. And get an edge on this guy here. When I say edge, I mean turn the form from light to dark. And while I'm at it, I'm going to put in my branch forms, and I'm going to do it carefully. Small. Let's put a little bit of red in here just to own the color. Working from the top. Okay, let's leave that alone just for the time being, and I'm going to continue work, but I'm not going to film it all. You saw how I went about it. We're going to break this for the time being and do a little work, and then we'll come back a little later when we've got a lot of the painting done. It's not necessary to see the entire demo because I'll just repeat myself everywhere here. Okie doke. We will be back soon. All right.